Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Great to see you this Monday evening. And in the most categorical statement on Gyanvapi so far, Yogi Adityanath has made the following statement, and I shall first read this out in Hindi. He says, मुझे लगता है कि ये प्रस्ताव मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ से आनी चाहिए कि ऐतिहासिक गलती हुई है और उस ऐतिहासिक गलती के लिए हम चाहते हैं समाधान हो. Translation on the Gyanvapi issue is as following. These are the words of Yogi Adityanath. He says that the Muslim community must volunteer and admit that there has been a historic mistake that must be resolved. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two ways of looking at this. One, that this is a call for integration, that it is the most secular solution, that it is indeed a call for reconciliation. But Owaisi says this is overreach. Ladies and gentlemen, is it overreach? Or is it an out-of-the-box solution where the Chief Minister says the matter must be resolved by volunteering a possible compromise? Is it overreach? Or is it by saying that there should be an acknowledgement of a historical mistake? Is it the most secular solution to allow the Anjuman committee to acknowledge the historical mistake and provide a proposed path ahead? Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, what the honorable courts decide will happen. But having said that, if matters can be resolved out of court, why not? Why does everything need to be resolved only in the court? If both sides come together and find a solution outside the court, then I say, why not? Viewers, Owaisi says, and he says that Yogi Adityanath is trying to pressurize Muslims and he's playing bulldozing politics. But looking at it differently, Yogi Adityanath has only given his opinion. And he's talking about finding a fair and acceptable solution by urging the masjid side to come out with a resolution. Viewers, I shall only make one point tonight. Where do sensitivities disappear when it comes to Hindus in this country? Where do empathies end when it comes to Hindus in this country? If there is a mediated solution, which even the Supreme Court, by the way, had recommended in the Ayodhya case. If there is a mediated solution, and there's mediation towards a solution, then I ask what is wrong. I'm not going into the issue of the writing being on the wall. I'm not saying there are trishuls and swastiks on the wall, for they are. I'm not only saying this has been mentioned in the Purans, for it is. I'm not talking about historical accounts of the temple there in 1868, for there are. I'm not talking about Hindu motifs like bells, kailash and flowers being there on the walls of Gyanvapi, for there are, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about historical mentions from the 18th century, because everyone, including the courts, know that there exists such evidence, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about the evidence. But I shall question Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi's interpretation of the Places of Worship Act of 1991. And with the greatest of respect to Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, I think he doesn't know the law at all. Or perhaps in his political enthusiasm, he is doing a deliberate misreading of the law. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Owaisi is so terribly wrong. Section 4.3 exempts archaeological sites covered by the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. Mr. Owaisi should understand basic law. Perhaps he should go and study the law again. If Gyanvapi's historical evidence dates back to 1192 AD, which is much more than 100 years, then doesn't it fall under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958? Ladies and gentlemen, where is the violation of the 1991 Act? And that's where people who are lawyers like Owaisi must let the law override their politics. Ladies and gentlemen, how is it a violation where the 1991 Act bars the conversion of places of worship and there is no intention to do so out here? I just want to say one thing. After more than 75 years of independence, if we cannot practice true secularism in this country, if Hindus and Muslims cannot pray together next to each other, respect each other's sensitivities, then how can we claim to be a secular country? So therefore, what Yogi Adityanath has said must be looked at in its correct perspective. Let's debate.